Hi there, I'm Aly Elliott.
Hi guys, I'm Aly Elliott. Welcome back to my channel. I'm continuing in the Hiraeth series, the stories behind the pictures, the bereaved siblings project today with Clara and Michael. And this story, they're all very special to me, and this story is no different. This story is special because this is my family. This was the first family to sign on beyond my own personal self. I did the photograph of my children with no more expectations. I wasn't even sure I would have my own image at the end of all of this. I certainly didn't think I would be doing this for anyone else. So my mom was highly involved in basically everything I did. She was one of those mothers that was excited about ridiculous little things that nobody else would care about, and excited about the big things. And she sensed that this was going to be a big thing, far before I did, before it was a big thing, before it was anything really. And I completed my image and I fell so in love with it immediately. And I wanted to create more, and I wanted to give other families that feeling that I had, that feeling of completeness that I could tangibly see and share and show to other people. And my mom, being the champion for me that she always was, told everybody about it. And she specifically told, we called her our Aunt Ann, and I wrote it down so that I would get it right on how we're related. So my great-great-grandfather and her grandfather were the same man. So we are first cousins twice removed. Do you follow that? She is a part of that generation that's otherwise lost to us. My family was huge growing up, and we had huge family reunions, and literally hundreds of people would pass through my grandparents' house. My parents built their home on the same property about 13 acres away from my grandparents' property, so they were a part of my daily life. And it was a very close, widely spread out family, and we saw everybody all through the summer, and Easter and Christmas, Thanksgiving too. So this was tight-knit but widespread family. So Anne and Johnny, her husband, they're both part of that generation that was like kind of the heyday of the family, and when my grandmother was alive and brought everybody together. So my mom told Anne about what I had done, and that I was kind of thinking that I might do more, that I might create a project out of it. I had no idea that it would take 4 or 5 years. I had no idea that my mom wouldn't see the end of it. And Anne and Johnny were the first ones to sign on, excited to do it. And I didn't ask them outright, because they were part of that generation that didn't get to grieve. And they came to me and said that I would really like to, through my mom, and came to my mom and said that she would like to be a part of it. And I was so honored and so blown away and felt so much pressure. And they were amazing. And they live in Columbus, and we went to them. We had some other stuff going on for my kids there, so we just shot their photograph inside their home. And I kind of didn't have a super well developed concept. I just was going to shoot what I could and use what I had to create something, and I was very happy with it. And it just kind of, like a lot of these things, it just kind of created itself. It guided me to what the final image should be, rather than me molding something into what I wanted it to be. And they all kind of you know, all of these images kind of had their way of doing that, whether I had a concept developed or not. So their children that were lost were Michael Wallace Brown, who was born and died on August 24th, 1959, and Clara Elizabeth Brown, who was born and died on May 20th, 1962. And they would be, when we photographed this, they would have been 57 and 60 years old. So they were, you know, they would have lived full lives by then, and they're still remembered and they're still thought of and their stories still told. And I'm very honored to have had a hand in, you know, part of that. So I'm just going to read to you. I have a picture that she sent me. I hope the light doesn't, I hope the light corrects there. There we go. So you can see their beautiful little marker and Anne's beautiful handwriting. Her handwriting is gorgeous. What a lost art. I can barely read my own. So my name is Anne Wallace Brown. My first child that died was Michael Wallace Brown. I carried him full term, and he died when he was born, August 24th, 1959. He would be 60 years old now. My second child that died was Clara Elizabeth Brown. I carried her the full 9 months, and she also died when she was born. On May 20th, 1962, she would be 57 now. I could not see either child before they were buried. I would have loved to have seen them, but I know they are with God. I think both children that died would be fair skin with freckles and light brown or auburn hair like my other children. And then they have 3 living children, 2 born to them and 1 adopted. And I wrote an article that I referenced a couple of videos ago in one of my Hiraeth description videos for Still Standing magazine called The Legacy of Grief. And she's very much part of that generation. She's not in my direct line, but she was very much a part of that same family that experienced so much loss, as many families did, most families did really, and they weren't allowed to grieve in public. They weren't allowed to talk about it or see their babies or, you know, have the mementos that we are so lucky to have now. And this was a way that we could honor Clara and Michael in a way that they weren't able to before because of the generation that they were in. So I just created their image using their pictures as adults, young adults, and their living children as young adults. And I felt like Clara's image came out looking a little bit like my mom, which was fun because my mom and Anne and Johnny's daughters were very close growing up. My mom was older. She had them in her wedding, and you know, it was a beautiful relationship. So it was interesting to see that pop through as you put the features together. But I'm so honored to have been a part of telling part of their story. And the candles are symbolic. The clock is symbolic. It's all intentional. And it has just been such an honor to have them join something that at the time I wasn't sure what it would even be. And it was easier to sign on for some of the people later because they had the tangible image of my children that they could go by. Anne and Johnny signed on before that was even public. And I'm just so grateful and so honored that they chose to be a part of this and share their children with me and with the world. So thank you to Anne and Johnny and to Clara and Michael for their story. And we will continue this kind of Easter egg hunt with Avery in the next couple of days. So I hope you'll join me there. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, follow me on Twitch and Instagram, and we'll have little tidbits on there too. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful evening.
That's why you my mommy. Please.